Okay, so I got my plate all polished up as much as I want to polish it. It's looking much better. So I'm gonna get ready to put this thing back together. All right. So there is a channel here that what would you call it? I guess it's not a slot. Anyway, oh, there's a cast-in part of the fork stanchion that fits in here, so it keeps it from turning. And the orientation is this is the bottom of the plate, and this is the top. So there's not only that orientation, but there's also a difference between the cams themselves. So when you look at the cams, you'll notice that one is longer, the threaded portion is longer. As well, there's a flat part to it. So part of the threaded portion's been cut off and flattened. And that's so that your indicator can fit onto there. So the indicator, after it goes on, it fits on there, and it'll move with the cam and indicate what your wear is. So this one goes on the bottom, the one with the cutout portion, and the other one goes on the top. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to grease this, and for this I'm not going to use the brake grease. I'm just going to use a little bit of axle grease, so just inside here, so that when I push it through, it'll go in the other direction. It won't kind of draw the grease into the brake. And don't need much. Well, let's see what happens. Having said that, if I recall, it was the top one that was giving me the grief, so maybe I'll give it a little bit extra grease. I may end up having to persuade it to go down with my rubber mallet. Okay, so my brush back, cover that up, get that out of the way. There we go. Good, good. Okay, so just make sure I get the right one. Yep. Okay, so now this is going to go in, and the dot that's punched in to the top is going to go towards the front of the bike, and it's going to be captured by the linkage, so it means it's going to go in this way. And likewise with this guy, the dot is going to go towards the front of the bike, so it's going to go in this way. Definitely going in a lot easier than it came out, so cleaning it up definitely helped. There you go. Then you need to persuade it. So a little bit of grease and some cleaning, and I can feel that rotates a lot easier than before. And it's not going to fall out either, but it definitely rotates a lot easier than it did. So that's a good thing. This guy is nice and free as well. Okay. So now that's that. So now we're ready. And I think what I'm going to do is I am going to find something just to put this guy up on so it doesn't push those guys out. There we go. So now I'm ready to put the shoes together. Let's move this pointer over here with the nuts. Now I want to do this with clean hands. And I want to be able to, well, you know what? I'm going to smear a little bit of brake lube first on the surface there before I put them on and on the pivot points. So I've got this Permatex Ultra Stick synthetic brake lubricant. And works great. It's a purple color, so it's unmistakable. Just I'm going to get rid of these gloves here in a second anyway, so. So you see I don't need much, right? And I'm going to smear some here on this one that the shoe pivots around. Am I getting enough on there yet? Yep, getting enough on there. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of this guy here, the one bottom pivot. And up here, or rather down here on this one, on the pivot point, it turns around. I guess I shouldn't call that the pivot, that's really the cam. Keep going back and forth between pivot and cam, sorry. All right, that's it. Now, while I got it here, the heck, I'll put a little bit inside in the shoe as well. I want to be real careful not to touch the inner surface of that shoe. So the nice thing about this grease, it's formulated for brakes. It's actually formulated for disc brakes, but it works fine on any brake. It's brake grease. And it doesn't, unlike say an axle grease or a lighter grease, it doesn't liquefy as easily under heat. And of course brakes get pretty hot, so this stuff stays there. I've gone back and redone brakes later that I'd used this on in car brakes, and the grease is fine. It's not flown all over the place. It's dirty, but it's still there on the surfaces I put it on, and I just put it on light like this. That's all you need. Now, I'm trying to be as clean as I can. I'm going to take these guys off so that I'm only touching the brakes with my bare hands. I've seen guys in the videos, I mean, you know, and I've seen it myself when I've been in Asia, you know, people will work on these things in the dirt because they got nowhere else to work on it. I'm lucky here. I got a nice garage with a bench, a whole bunch of tools, so it makes it easier for me, but do the best you can. Okay. So now, I'm just going to move this a little bit, lay this down. It looks dirty, but it's actually a clean rag. So this one's going to go on this way, and this one's going to go on this way. Dirty dog. Play with these a little bit. There we go.